All right, what's up, everybody? We're going to kick this thing off. If I can ask you to quiet down then. Don't make me play the clapping game. Can I get your attention, please? Hello? No, we're yelling enough. Thank you all for being here. I'm so glad you found Loomis. Thanks for showing up. We got some very exciting content and challenges for you all today. If this is your first time here, my name is Nathan. This is SIGPwny. We do some fun cybersecurity stuff. Today, we're going to be doing Introduction to Web Hacking. Eventually, I'm going to pass this off to two very talented members, Michael and Emma, and they're going to walk you through it. If this is your first time and you don't know, if you can't follow what's going on, if at any time you don't know what's going on, you need help, raise your hand, and we have a lot of talented helpers here who will come to you and help you at your seat. Okay, without further ado, let's kick this off with some announcements. Next slide. Okay, first question of the day, pop quiz, 10 points. What are your plans for this weekend, starting Friday at 11 a.m.? Seesaw, yes, exactly. Extra credit, extra credit. Oh, happy hour, baby. Seesaw happy hour. So let me reiterate. If I could have your attention, please. This Friday at 11 a.m. starts Seesaw, which is a CTF competition. This semester, this year, we're going to do our best to train you all and give you the opportunities that we can to help you perform well at these competitions. And so if this is your first time coming to a competition, I want you to understand that these are hard questions that are going to be asked, but I want you to be inspired and learn from other people who are doing those questions at the same time. If it's your first time, I encourage you so much to come through. Like if we roll up with a team of 100, we cannot fail, right? Let's show them what we got. At 5 o'clock on Friday, we're going to get a room in the top of Siebel, and we're going to order pizza. Pay attention to the announcements, and you'll know when that's happening. All right, next up is Fall CTF, right? And CTF is that competition we talked about, but this one is truly oriented for beginners and first timers, unlike what you're going to see come this Friday, right? So Fall CTF is happening September 24th. Mark your calendars. Register today if you want a free t-shirt, right? You must register at fallctf.sigpwny.com if you want that free swag.
At the end of the hour.
Yeah, get on that. And so we can order the t-shirts on time. Those are the logistics things. Thank you for listening. Without further ado, I'm going to ask you to please pay attention and keep talking to a minimum so that everybody can hear. Raise your hands if you have questions, and I'm going to hand it off to Michael.
Top, there are seats in the audience if you want to come down and sit. You just might have to filter through a little bit.
Give it up for Michael.
Hi guys, I'm Michael, nice to meet you. Today I am here to talk about the web, where everything is of course true and you do not question the information. First of all, let's start with the flag. Slightly explaining it, when you deal with the terminal a lot, you oftentimes have to copy and paste your code, which you do Control-Shift-C instead of Control-C. It turns out that that gives you a different thing on the browser when you're trying to do that. So
How do you type it in?
You'll want to go onto our CTF website and enter this in the web CTF.
CTF.sigpwny.com.
All right. Should I give people a second?
Yeah, give me a minute.
All right.
Then go to challenges, make sure you're signed in, and write out that flag.
The one.
Is it typo?
I entered it wrong. just add it as an alternate.
All right. Another 5 to 10 seconds and we'll be moving on. Cool. So just slightly an overview of today's meeting. We'll be talking about 1, how the web works, and 2, how the web works, in specific, the details of what you oftentimes receive on the internet. That makes it cool. Afterwards, we'll be talking about cookies and some details of how you use DevTools, which is more related to like hacking stuff. So let's talk about how the web works from a very high level. The web works oftentimes, as people say, on a client and server model. That means oftentimes you using your browser are so-called a client, and you try to talk to a server on the internet to get whatever you want, like Facebook, your bank account, or other contents. So how the communication works in this sense is oftentimes you ask for some specific thing to the server, and they will respond to you with what you asked for. For example, a document, or a cat picture. Of course, there are cases that you don't have permission to get something and it won't give it to you, but we'll save that for later. Besides pictures and documents, such as HTML files, the net can also send you some other stuff, for example, JavaScript code that your computer can run to make the web more cool and interactable. So yeah, that's a rough idea of how the client and server model works on the web. Any questions so far? Cool. Yeah, so next we're going to talk about the skin, bones, and brains of the web. Probably got that order wrong, but oh well. In specific, we're going to talk about what an HTML file is, a CSS file is, and what JavaScript is. So let's talk about the bones first, which are HTML files. Basically, what an HTML file is a document that has specifics like grammar stuff that allows the programmer to set different elements in specific places of the web page. So yeah, if I wanted some text and a picture on a web page, then this would be some text that some code that the programmer would put down on their HTML file in order to do that. The CSS file is so-called the skin of the web or the internet. Basically what that does is, besides having things in places, you also want them to look pretty, as you know, advertisement is a big thing nowadays on web. So yeah, that's where the CSS file kicks in. You can specify, excuse me. You can make things look the way you want them to, yes. And at last, this is the actual interesting part. In order for the internet to be useful for most users, you don't want just a simple document that just shows you stuff. You also want to interact with it. You want to log into your Facebook account. You want to, I don't know, buy stuff on Amazon. And that's where JavaScript can be useful. It brings you to the next, it helps you send requests to the server to ask for the next web page that you clicked on, according to link, and runs arbitrary code that, well, not arbitrary code, it runs code that you ask it to. Cool, so that was my part. If there are no questions, I will hand it on to Emma, who will talk about cookies and local storage and DevTools after that.
Cool, okay. Oh my. All right, hello. I'm going to talk about cookies and local storage now. All right, so cookies are small pieces of data that are stored by your browser that they're basically there to keep consistency between sessions in a browser. So for example, when you log on to Twitter, you usually don't have to log in like if you closed out and opened up again after logging in the first time for a while. That'd be the job of cookies. Now, this gets interesting if someone else gets a hold of your cookie, because if I log on to Twitter and then someone else gets my cookie that says they already logged on to my Twitter, now they can be on my Twitter. And that's kind of where security becomes an aspect in this. So then, like, the main difference between cookies and local storage is that local storage is going to be a little bit larger. It's also doesn't have an expiration date. Cookies, for security purposes like that, because usually they're storing something like a login session, for example. Usually they have an expiration date, but local storage doesn't have that. And otherwise, it's pretty similar. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about, this is more relevant to the challenges we have, just important tools that you might need in order to solve each of the challenges. This is going to be your classic inspect element type stuff. We're going to show you how to do it on Chrome, but you can also do all this stuff on Firefox. It's going to look slightly different, but it's pretty much the same. All right, so for inspect element, all you want to do is you want to right click on an object, hit inspect, and then you can look at the HTML for that object. Or if you want a shortcut to do the same thing, you can hit Control-Shift-C, which is like what our flag was. Oh my gosh. So when you do this, you can delete and add elements to the page, which is kind of fun. It's not going to change it like for everyone, but if you want to make google.com pink, go ahead. But more importantly, from a security perspective, you can view things like event listeners. Like if you had a button and you wanted to see where it went, or like what happened when you clicked it, you could do something like that. The next tool we're going to talk about is console. So you're just going to click on the console tab in your DevTools, and then in this section, you can view your JavaScript errors, as well as, more interestingly, you can execute your own JavaScript. Like if there's a function that someone wrote in JavaScript on their web page, you could play with that in the console on DevTools. So that can lead to some interesting things of just like figuring out how the site works and maybe being able to toy with it a little. Next, we're going to talk about the network tab. That's going to be viewing the request sent from your browser, kind of like what Michael was talking about earlier, where you send a request for the HTML or the cat picture, and then it comes back. This is where you view all that. And that can be interesting just to see how your computer is talking to the server and vice versa, which can lead to just like, it helps you kind of figure out what the site's doing and how you can manipulate it. And then we're going to talk about the application tab. And that's where you view those cookies and local storage things that I was talking about earlier. There's going to be a little tab for each of those. And you can modify the contents of that to kind of mess with the web service if you want, and just figure out what it's doing, maybe put another cookie in there, who knows? Sometimes there's security measures for that. Sometimes there's not. Hopefully there is, but for our purposes, play with it. I think that's everything we have for our slides. Next, we want to walk you through one of the intro challenges. Man, I can't use your computer.
Okay, so
Give us a second. While he pulls that up, we're going to walk you through the first SIGPwny challenge, which is basically going over what we talked about with the inspect element tab and just how that all works, and kind of just giving you the chance to play with what we taught you.
So to get to this page, go to ctf.sigpwny.com and then follow along.
Yes, if you want to solve these challenges yourself, go to ctf.sigpwny.com. The challenges for this week should be at the top.
this is the most personal. All right.
I'll make it work. Is this on Chrome? Oh, it's on Edge.
This
That
is on
works.
Edge, it's fine.
That'll work. Okay, thank you. All right.
Do you want to?
Oh, sure.
Okay, cool.
Unless you want to.
No.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be a pretty straightforward example. We're going to show you how to solve the first SIGPwny challenge. So, hey besties. Okay. So we're going to show you how to solve the first SIGPwny challenge. All you got to do is Control-Shift-C. And that should,
You apologize. Please find yourself.
we're going to make that a little bigger for you so that we can see the flag. But in the comments, you should be able to see the first flag.
Is there?
So if you go into this site and you hit inspect element or hit Control-Shift-C yourself, you can start looking into the other challenges you can solve. Start looking at the things we told you about, like check the cookies, check the local storage, check the HTML source, just look everywhere and you'll get through it, I promise. And we've also got some other challenges up if you want to solve those. Just if you get past the SIGPwny and want to try something else.
How do you submit the flag?
Oh yes, you submit the flag on ctf.sigpwny.com. Oh yes, we can show you how to submit the flag. No, thank you, Nathan. All right, we're gonna copy this flag. All right, so you paste your flag in. And yeah. All right, so we did it. All right, go solve challenges.
If you have any questions, let us know.
Oh yes, of course. Raise your hand if you have any questions, and our lovely helpers will help you out. Oh yes, next meeting. Here you go.
Great work, holy shit. All right, let's give it up for Emma and Michael. All right, I'm going to take it here for just 5 more seconds of your time. This Friday, Seesaw, be there. Even if you're doing homework, I want you to be there. It's just going to be a good time with everybody. We're going to ping you in Discord. And then this Sunday, there's not going to be a meeting because we're going to be staying up all night at Seesaw and we are going to be unconscious on Sunday. So next Thursday, we're going to be doing web hacking 2. We're going to go into like cross-site scripting and SQL injection. So you're not going to want to miss that either. Now for the remaining time that we have here, I want everybody who's available to solve those challenges on the CTF as you saw, complete the SIGPwny suite, raise your hands as soon as you have questions and we will be around to help you. We want to see you solve these challenges. So just put your hand up when you need it. Good luck.